This is Congressman Chet Edwards' town hall meeting for the city of Cleburne. This is your opportunity for you to talk to the congressman about health care, to ask questions, to learn. This is a back and forth. So we want there to be, those of you who are in favor, great. Those of you who are opposed, great. We just ask that we all be respectful to each other. The one good thing is we can disagree, but we can not be disagreeable. So I hope that's where we are today. Those of you who brought signs, great. We hope that you hold them down while people are asking questions and the congressman is answering those questions. Any of those signs that are up during an answer or during a question, I will ask you to put them down, because if you hold a sign up, if you look behind you, there were people who probably will not be able to see because your sign is up. So we ask that while people are talking, to please keep the signs down. We ask that you respect everyone's right to be heard. If someone's asking a question, please let that person ask the question. When the congressman is answering the question, please respect the congressman and let him answer the question. If you don't like what you hear, if you like what you hear, you can respond. That's fine. But while people are asking questions, let's be civil to our neighbors. You do have the questionnaire, the little cards. We're still collecting those at this time. We will draw all of the questions, all the people who will ask questions. We're going to draw your name out of the bowl. You'll know beforehand. It's not going to be, okay, Joe Smith, here, it's your turn. I'm going to draw a card, and I will draw a card before the congressman starts speaking. That way we'll have somebody with a microphone who can come to you, and you can ask your question and you can be heard. And I will go one or two ahead to make sure that we get the microphones situated. Are we cool with that? Those of you who insist on shouting down questioners or shouting down the congressman, we ask that you think twice about that, because we want this to be a very well-run question and answer period where you all will learn, where you all can speak your mind without speaking over other people. And we would appreciate that. The man sitting next to me is Congressman Chet Edwards. He represents portions of North Texas, Central Texas, and the Brazos Valley in Washington, D.C. Since first elected to the Congress in 1990, Chet has gained seniority and influence and is now a senior member on both the House Budget and Appropriation Committees. He served as chairman of the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs Appropriations Subcommittee in 2007, where he authored historic increases in funding for veterans' health care and benefits in the history of the Veterans Administration. He also served as the Financial Services Appropriations Subcommittee member and Water and Energy Appropriations Subcommittee. One thing that the congressman is very, very interested in is the reason you are here tonight, and that is health care. He has held nearly 30 meetings on health care reform with doctors, nurses, small business owners, and everyday citizens just like us. His telephone town hall included nearly 20,000 constituents from all 12 counties in District 17, and today's meeting is the third regional town hall after holding two in Brazos and McLennan counties last week. Congressman Edwards is a 1974 graduate of Texas A&M University. He graduated magna cum laude with a bachelor's degree in economics. He and his wife Leanne, along with their sons JT and Garrison, attend Calvary Baptist Church in Waco. In just a second, we will hear from the congressman. But first off, our first questioner after the congressman is completed with his opening remarks will be Lorena Eaton of Cleburne. Lorena, if you will stand and move to an aisle and raise your hand, and we will have a microphone for you. There's Lorena right there. for the people with the microphones. Congressman, the floor is yours.
Charlie, thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me okay in the back? Okay, great. If you can't hear me, if you raise your hand, I will try to speak up a little bit. But I want to begin by saying thank you. And I'll be very brief in my opening comments, because to me, the heart and soul of this town hall dialogue tonight is to hear your questions and your views on the terribly important issue of health care. But I'd like to just start by telling you that I began my morning this morning at Fort Hood, the largest U.S. Army installation in the country, sent more soldiers to Iraq than any other military base in our great nation. In a meeting with the soldiers this morning, I felt the same way I always do when I go there, feeling deeply blessed and humbled that you and I are fortunate enough to live in a country where great young Americans are willing to put on our nation's uniform and even are willing to give their life if necessary, so that you and I have the right to be part of this democracy, so your voice can be heard in our democracy, so that you can question and even challenge elected officials. I thank God that we live in a country that allows us all that opportunity. And I always wonder about how we... Me and I were down there 2 Sundays ago and put medals around the necks of 40 young children whose dads had given their lives in Iraq. I always question myself, how do we ever honor those people for the sacrifices they have made? I think you honor them tonight by being here. Whatever your position is on health care, whether we agree on some things, disagree on others, the fact that you're here, the fact that you've chosen on a Friday night, on a 3-day weekend, a holiday weekend, to be part of our democracy, I think is the greatest way we can salute and thank those great soldiers that I met with this morning. Let me just address one thing, and then we're going to go directly to your questions. You have a right to know my approach to health care. Let me just make a couple of points in regard to that. First, I think it's one of the most important issues that any member of Congress will ever be asked to vote on, because it affects your family, my family, it affects every American family and in our entire country. I think it's more important that we do it carefully and thoroughly and do it right than we do it quickly. And that's why I was one of the members of Congress who in late July told the House leadership, if you force us to vote in August, before we've gone home and listened to our constituents and studied these bills carefully, count me as a no, because this is too important for us for the public and American citizens to have a chance to participate in it. Secondly, while I have made the purposeful decision until I have analyzed it, and I've spent hundreds of hours studying this bill and share some of the frustrations I imagine you feel about trying to get our arms around what's in this bill and what's not in this bill. It's a long bill, it's a complicated issue. But while I've spent hundreds of hours, the fact is I'm purposely going to remain undecided until I've had a chance to listen to people from all walks of life in our district. But I can tell you that one thing I will not vote for, if I believe any bill, out of the House or Senate, any bill would end up through the front door or the back door with the United States having a Canadian-style, socialized, one-size-fits-all, government-run health care plan, I will vote no on it. My third and final point is this. I think we've got, in so many, many ways, the greatest healthcare system in the world. I know if Leanne's and our children, God forbid, had cancer, or someone we love had a heart problem, I wouldn't want them to be in any other country in the world. I want them to be right here with the finest doctors and nurses and some of the most cutting-edge technology we have in the world. My concern is